I want to welcome everybody to the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. This is the place to be. You made it. We've been expecting you. Thank you for not disappointing us or yourselves. And we will have our little mission vision statement that we'll state together. So we'll go ahead and put that up. And it says that we are an open, loving, spiritual community to evolving consciousness through teaching spiritual principles. And we're just grateful you're here. We're going to have a little opening music from Dave. Dave, you want to give us a little music, please?
Well, good morning, Zoom. Good morning, Zoom land. And before we sing our first song, I'd like to play an opener for you. And just to tie us all together, it's in every one of us. And now for our first song.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dave. Oh, that's great. Well, again, welcome to the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Steve Van Meter, your senior minister. It's my pleasure to welcome you here. And we have some announcements this morning. And my first announcement is I come to you with a heavy heart as I regret to inform you that our beloved practitioner, Jim Reese, bass player extraordinaire, has made his transition. And I got to spend some time with him on Wednesday. And we just bless him on his tripping the light fantastic, as I call it. And we send him and his family love, knowing Betsy is held in the light and love of pure spiritual embrace. And we know that we just send love, knowing that what a blessed spirit he is. Our annual membership meeting is the last Sunday of this month, September 26th at noon, on the same Zoom link as the Sunday service. So you just stay on, and we look forward to your attendance so that we can have a quorum, so that we can vote on certain things that the board needs your input on. And one of those is that we have a person candidating to be on our board. His name is Guy Young. And I'd like to introduce him to say a few words. Guy?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, well, my reasoning for wanting to be on the board is to get more involved in what the center does and the direction we are going. I've been an ordained minister since 1973 and served in a large church in the San Francisco Bay Area. And having been an active minister in the past and being involved with other ministerial organizations has given me, I believe, the experience that I hope will be valuable to the board.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. We so appreciate you stepping forward into a leadership position, of course, after you're voted in. Okay, well, thank you, Guy. And going on with our announcements, I will be teaching Foundations class beginning tomorrow, September 20th from 1 to 4 p.m. It's a free class. It costs $45 just for the registration fee for your certificate, and you'll need to have a textbook. I urge you to contact me either today or tomorrow morning if you want to enroll in that class. Spiritual economics class will be taught by Sherry Davis. This is an 8-week course, and this begins Monday, October 4th, and ends November 22nd. The cost is $120 plus the $45 certificate fee. And the purpose of this class is to live a new reality of a life based upon the power and foundation of spiritual truth. So you may think it's about economics, but it's really about being spiritually economical. There is a POP meeting, and that stands for People on Purpose, meeting to be held on Zoom September 21st at 11 a.m. For the Zoom link or any information, please contact Carol White. Her information is in the e-news. We have a new e-giving platform. Our provider has launched an update to the mobile app called Vanco Faith or Mobile, Vanco Mobile, and it replaces the Give Plus mobile that has been phased out. So you can download the Vanco Mobile free app from the App Store or Google Play or wherever you get your apps. If you have any questions about this, you can contact Rhonda through our website or the e-news, and she is our Zoom extraordinaire technical person that helps us so much with bringing this technology into your homes. So that concludes my announcements for the morning. Let's have a little music as Dave leads us as we sing "We Are One" before Treasure comes in as our practitioner. Dave?
was beautiful. Thank you, Dave. Ah. Let's take a moment to read our gratitude together. I am grateful to go within and constantly feel the support, loving presence, and guidance of God. And so it is. Good morning. Welcome to the Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Treasure Wiley, and I am your podium practitioner for today. Janet Moray is our table practitioner, and she is holding the high watch for us and knowing with and for us that divine presence fills this time that we share together. If you are in need of prayer, please submit a prayer request on our website. And remember that the practitioners are here for you and would love to receive a call. Their information is also found on the center's website. Let's read today's prayer together. Let Rhonda have a moment to pull that up. I open myself to remembering that God's got this. I am continually finding strength and determination to go with the flow of life, even through challenges that may occur in my divine journey. And so it is. Dave, do you lead us in singing I Am Loved? Thank you, Dave. So in reflecting on our topic this week, I observe that sometimes our life journey is pretty simple. Things work out, our relationships are good, work goes on, the bills get paid, everyone is relatively healthy. And these are some really good moments and places to reflect and really drink in the abundance of life. And a lot of times, when things are really simple and good, and I think I'm not the only one here, but I can get busy and be really on. And it's good, it's productive time, and I can get a lot done, and I know you can too. And in fact, I can get moving so fast through life that I maybe don't always take the time to pause and notice how great it is. And so I realized that these rocky roads, which we'll be talking about, these are other times. These are times when the journey gets more complicated and the path, I think about a rocky road and it's a path that goes uphill and it's narrow. And I know that when these challenges show up, it's time to slow down. Money might be lean, someone might be sick, a relationship might bottom out. And we just can't move as fast on this rocky road as we can on the interstates of life. It's a perfect invitation to slow down, lighten our load, and become more conscious of the presence of spirit, more mindful of the present moment. These are the places of spiritual growth, which can take some time. Challenges are opportunities to practice gentle self-care and and enjoy the voice of Spirit. Let's do an invocation together and then take a moment of silent reflection. Pausing for a deep breath and a moment of gratitude. Gratitude that opens us up to receiving faith, the true manna from heaven. Gratitude for all that we share here in this sacred time and space. We set ourselves apart from all distractions and come fully present in our awareness of now, knowing that the fullness of Spirit is flowing in everything, in each of us, and that we are one in Spirit. We know this service is blessed in all ways, inviting the divine source to manifest as love, peace, joy, music, laughter, and inspired wisdom. We align ourselves and release everything into the living, loving law of mind that is always yes. And we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. And let's just take a moment of silence together. And once again, taking a nice deep breath of gratitude. How precious it is for us to be here now. And we're ready now for this wonderful message and some special music from Dave.
You know, folks, in challenging times like we're having right now, it's always great to hear an inspirational song. And this song comes from The Sound of Music, one of my favorites, Climb Every Mountain.
Wow, what a perfect segue. Thank you, Dave and Treja, and thank you for being here this morning. The title for this month, for September, is Reaching Higher, and my talk title today is When the Road Gets Rocky. Ah, interesting. Well, in August, we spent time resting and rejuvenating and readying ourselves for the next ascent on our journey. And we begin that ascent this month by reaching higher towards a greater understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe, pushing past our comfort zones or our uncomfort zones at times, and using our understanding in innovative ways to advance us, to move us forward, while including and benefiting from the wisdom and experience that we've gained along the way. We rise in consciousness. So what do we do when the road gets a little rocky? Well, we put our hiking boots on. And if we're in a four-wheel drive Jeep, we put it into four-wheel drive. And we slowly move. You know, you don't run over a rocky terrain, or you may trip and stumble and skin your chin. You know, when we push past our comfort zones, we are often faced with challenges to our old ways of being. And that's what part of life is all about. Life can feel uncertain and our footing somewhat unstable. This is why we need to go slow to make sure that we have a good foothold. What are the universal truths that we can lean into and deepen our understanding to help us find our footing and new handholds for this part of our journey, our evolutionary journey? Well, that's what this teaching is all about. You know, when we have tools and we know how to use those tools, we do better. You know, you need to have good hiking boots. You need to have gloves. You need to have equipment and know how to use that equipment and be prepared to use that equipment when the road gets rocky. And this teaching is part of the tools that we've equipped ourselves with so that when things challenge us, that we can lean on our practice. You know, if we know how to pray and we wake up in prayer every morning, when something comes our way, it doesn't shake us to our foundation as much. It gives us tools to use so that we can know how to advance even when the terrain is not something we are always going over. So in this teaching, The Science of Mind, we recognize and respect all paths to God, honoring all individuals and their unique spiritual path. You know, we envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. There's only one of us here, and it is the infinite expressing as the billions of countless life forms that populate this thing called Earth. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle. We emphasize unity with God and connect with each other. A world in which individually and collectively, we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. You see, faith is within everyone's reach. And from our Science of Mind textbook on page 158.5, written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, he says, if one will have faith in himself, faith in his fellow man, and in the universe and in God, that faith will light the place in which he finds himself. And by that light of faith, he will be able to see that all is good. Again, that's from the Science of Mind, page 185, paragraph 5. And from How to Use the Science of Mind by Dr. Holmes, he writes, we must accept this proposition and see what we can do with it. Do we have enough conviction to turn away from negative conditions and mentally contemplate their opposites? Can we turn away from poverty and accept abundance? Can we turn away from illness and believe in health? Can we separate ourselves from unhappiness and accept happiness? Can we quiet all discord long enough to contemplate harmony? And do we have the courage to proceed based on this? Well, again, that's from How to Use the Science of Mind. And it brings me to this statement called the law of life. And this was written in this thing called You, one of my favorite Ernest Holmes book, where he says, your faith can penetrate the clouds of unbelief and unveil the truth that is always perfect. And I say, lo, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. I shall not build a condo there. I shall not pitch a tent. I shall not buy a t-shirt. I will continue walking, pulling up my socks, putting on my hiking boots, and walking gingerly over the rocky terrain. Your words do not create the truth, but only reveal it. Your thoughts operate through the law of life and can satisfy your needs, turn fear into faith, loss into gain, failure into success. So what we need to do is act as if we are already having dominion over our challenges. Again, that's from this thing called You. From birthing to expansion and transformation, let the pain become your inspiration. You know, pain is part of our experience for whatever reason, but suffering is optional. If we can turn our challenges into learning experiences and see it from a different perspective, our road will get easier. From the Science of Mind, page 448, paragraph 1, Dr. Holmes writes, the whole purpose of the science of mind is to resolve the apparent separation of the spiritual world, which must be perfect, with the material world, which appears imperfect. The spiritual world is the cause of the material. We are spiritual beings governed by mental law. Wherever this consciousness lacks a true perspective, we have challenge. It's our outward expression that will give us the proper harmony that we're looking for. This is why we are taught to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, in seeing the rocky road differently, as knowing that our faith goes out before us and makes all rocky roads smooth. Now, it may not change the terrain, but it will change the attitude that we take as we step onto the terrain, which actually makes the terrain smoother. You know, the central theme of this month is how to reach higher into levels of consciousness, how to not be a victim of our own thinking or thinking the world is out to get us. You know, we need to recognize the spiritual power that each one of us has and to use it to learn how to pray and learn how to be in prayer all the time. What if you knew that every word that you spoke was a prayer? You might choose your words differently. Now, I'm not saying that to get down on anyone. I'm saying that to lift you up. That if we can think before we say something, we might choose our words differently. Instead of saying, oh, gosh, darn it, we say, God bless this, and see what happens. When we call forth a blessing, that is what we'll demonstrate in our lives. But in order to transform our lives into the sentient beings that we truly are, we need to use our creative power consciously to navigate all kinds of rocky roads and challenges. It is one of the finest arts that we can develop to reach higher in consciousness. If we can see ourselves as the victors, not the victims, our whole perspective changes what we attract. See, if energy flows where your attention goes, and our attention is on the challenge, we're actually perpetuating the challenge. But if our energy is on the solution, on the resolution, on the miracle, on the blessing, that is what we attract. And boom, our consciousness is shifted once and for all. You know, the road is not always smooth and brimming with trees. Sometimes it becomes winding and full of stones. However, it is still a fascinating landscape, no matter what it is, because it is different and unique in nature. We can transform it into what we choose we want it to be. Can we let the pain of our situation become an inspiration for us to live more fuller lives? I say yes. Yes, the road sometimes gets rocky, but we can use our spiritual principles, our desire to treat and move our feet, to pray and know that there is a power within us that goes before us and makes that way straight, smooth, so that those that follow us will follow a smooth path. Maybe we even take some of the boulders off the path so that those that follow us will become strong by moving their own boulders out of the way. So we need to become resilient. We need to practice the presence. And that is a practice of becoming one, knowing our oneness, being love in every situation, and being the creative wisdom of solution in every situation. become aware of our experience of the one infinite reality, that God is all it is. And you can call it whatever you want: source energy, great spirit, Christ consciousness, Buddha, Allah. That's your business. But I think we can agree that as we practice the presence of the awareness that created us, which is what means to be a practitioner, is engaging in formal, disciplined methodologies that quiet our mind, still our bodies, and open our awareness to let in that divine energy of love and life. As my dad would always say, don't close the window all the way. Leave it open an inch for a new idea to blow in. It is living in alignment with our science of mind principles and making these principles part of our life and evident in the way we engage in this present moment, and thereby being congruent in thought, word, and our behavior. It's not just enough to read about something. You've got to embody it. You know, I can buy a whole bunch of yard equipment and set it in my garage, but if I don't get that blower going and actually use it, it's just a piece of equipment in my tool belt. You know, somebody's got to get out there and do the work. And, you know, we look to others, don't we? Well, I'll just hire somebody to do it. But nobody can be a practitioner in your life like you can. Now, there are times that we get oversaturated and we need to call somebody. We need to call a practitioner who is not attached to our energy so that they can know the truth for us. So in conclusion, when the going gets tough, the tough go shopping. You know, sometimes when the going gets tough, we need to giggle a little bit. We need to laugh a little bit and kind of break the ice. I remember the story of this family that was at the fair, and they had two boys, and one of the boys had gotten lost. And they went to the security guard and they told the security guard what the other boy looked like. And the other son turned to his parents and said, "If we don't find him, can I have his room?" And they all laughed and soon found their other son. But it's that kind of consciousness that can bring light, levity into situations that change the energy. When the going gets tough, the tough goes shopping. And we turn to our teaching, put on our hiking boots. We prepare ourselves with prayer and consciousness. We put our Jeeps into four-wheel drive and we sit back and enjoy the ride. You know, there is a oneness. There is one infinite reality, and it's called by many countless names, included, not limited to God, life, universal spirit, infinite intelligence, first cause, the thing itself. Source energy is one of my favorites, great spirit. It is complete and whole within itself, whatever you call it. This oneness creates everything out of itself, and therefore includes both the absolute and the relative, the tangible and the intangible, the physical and the metaphysical aspects of reality. Let us acknowledge the divine order, regardless of the conditions, as we turn to our teaching, to what we believe the power that created us is, and not putting our attention on our challenge. This doesn't mean that we don't need to do some work in the field of all opportunity. It means that we don't live there. We live in the prayer, knowing that something wonderful is happening regardless of the appearance. look for the gift. Look for the miracle. Look for the message that this situation is bringing you. And in looking at the message, the messenger of the pain and the discord will go back into the nothingness from which it came, because the message has been delivered and received, and we are better for it. You know, when we judge the road as rocky, it becomes rockier. But when we see it as an opportunity to love the vast landscape that we live in, a beautiful expression begins to appear. And as you get to the top of your mountain, you will see that there are many different peaks to climb. So let's affirm, I allow, I accept, I receive soothing, healing love. Once again, I allow, I accept, I receive soothing, healing love. And so it is. Amen. Well, it's time for our prayer. So let's follow our teaching and go within. So I invite you to close your eyes or take a soft focus out your window or something within your perspective that allows you to go within. And I invite you to bring to the forefront of your consciousness what you choose to believe that the creative wisdom of the universe is to you. What is that creative genius power? What is recycling itself as your next thought? Each one of us, being a divine emanation of that power, is right here and now unified as that power in form. It can be no other way. And we speak our word for smooth, energetic love, knowing that as we focus on a smooth experience, a gentle, peaceful love comes over us and washes over us and makes all things new, goes before us and makes our path straight and smooth. That whatever we happen to be walking through right now is a blessing. It is part of our transformation. Each one of us is in the right place at the right time right now to be the healing in the situation we find ourselves in. And as we turn our attention to what we believe, to the healing, to the miraculous energy of love, a new connection is made. New synapses within our brains are being reorchestrated to heal, to reveal, to love at depth. And as we become the love that we are seeking, the love we are seeking becomes us. And there is a wholeness, and there is a healing. And the divine energy of love takes control. And we just are awesomely inspired by the miraculous energy of the healing that we have become in every situation. We are so grateful for that healing, so grateful for the ability to know that something powerful is happening by means of each one of us, that we are the point of love in every situation. And being that love, we are the very glue that holds this universe together. We are no longer part of the challenge. We are the solution in form. And as we allow that solution to wash over us, a new consciousness is being birthed within each one of us. We are so grateful. So we put these living, loving words directly into the law of mind, knowing that this prayer, this energy is the love of the universe itself. So we let go. We remove anything that may have blocked our inner flow previously so that we may be a miracle in every situation, as we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen. Well, again, thank you for joining us this morning. It's time for our offertory. So if we could put our offertory ideas about sharing up on the screen. And it says, I relax in the knowledge that the activity of divine abundance is eternally operating in my life. Once again, I relax in the knowledge that the activity of divine abundance is eternally operating in my life. So I invite you to find your way of giving today, if it's through our new Vanco mobile app, or if you send a check in. Let's say a prayer for what you've given. And I just want to reach out and say thank you to all of you that keep this ministry going so that we can provide this for you virtually. And I have a feeling soon on Sunday mornings as we come back together at some point. I just know it's happening soon. When it's safe and when the numbers are right and our board agrees, we'll do that. But I want to thank you for keeping this message going. For this is Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. We are so blessed to have this ministry and to share it together. So let's just say a prayer for our offertory. So I know that from the love of pure energy, these tithes and gifts have been collected. They're evidence of our faith and our ability to manifest in this world of form. And they do good work in the world by allowing this Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living to be open and available to those that are seeking this healing energy. And even for those that may not know, that's what we are doing. We are so blessed. We give great thanks as we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen. And now we will have our closing song and benediction. Dave, you want to give us a little music? Thank you, Dave. We love you so much. Thank you. Well, it's time for our benediction. So please repeat after me. Go ahead and unmute yourself so we can hear you. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my mind.
In my body.
In my body.
And in the body of my affairs.
And in the body of my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it,
I feel it.
and I know it.
I know it.
Just the way that it is,
Just the way it is.
and just the way that it is not.
The way it is not.
It is not.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, Lord.
Have a great week, everybody.